Alright, so now let us check the next set of tags that is related to images. So image is very important aspect of all web pages. So because images enhance visual appearance of the whole web pages. Reason being, an image can, explain more than text or words. So image tag is used in, inserting images in web pages. It's an empty element. It doesn't have any ending tag. So this is the general syntax of image tag. So if you notice, it doesn't have any ending tag. Okay. It has important attributes like width and height, and generally your image can be of this size, and on a page you might reduce this image size, okay, by specifying height and width. So let's say your existing image was of height 100 pixel and width 200 pixel, but you can still specify height and width, and you can display that image into smaller size, maybe let's say 100 pixel of width and 50 pixel of height. When you specify image tag and when your page gets loaded, so whatever URL that you specify, that image will be called. So URL is basically consists of file name or a full URL. So this URL can be an external URL. You can call URL from any other website as well, or you can call it from your local server. And you can also specify alt text, that is alternative text. So in case somehow the image does not exist or image does not get loaded on the browser, so this alternate text will be displayed. Okay, so this is the syntax, and this is one example. So I have specified file name over here, and in case the file doesn't arrive or the image doesn't display on the browser, so this alternate text will be displayed. And width and height is usually by default considered in pixels. Okay, one thing to importantly understand here is all these attributes are optional, but when you don't specify either of these two, let's say you have specified width and you have not specified height, or vice versa, that is you have specified height and not width, so other parameter will be calculated in the ratio automatically. Okay, so let's say you have not write this part. Okay, so in case your original image was of 400 by 400, okay, that is 400 in width and 400 in height, and you have specified width as 200, so height will be calculated to 200 automatically. Okay, you can also specify, let's say, 400 and 200 as the width and height explicitly. Now in this case, what is going to happen if your original image was of 400 width, okay, you are specifying height as 200 and width as 400. Okay, so this is your width and this is your height, 400 400, and you have specified 400 as width and 200 as height. So what is going to happen is, let's say you have image like this. Okay, so suppose this is your image, it will be shrinked, okay, to something like this. Okay, also let's say you have specified height as 800, okay, and width as still 400. Okay, so in this case image will be stretched and it will become something like this. Okay, so ideally you should not specify both the height and width explicitly. That is a general standard coding convention. It benefits you in two ways. First is that it doesn't alter your image aspect ratio, and other thing is your length of your HTML or your size of code also get reduced. Okay, because you are not going to specify one parameter. So to understand this thing particularly, we'll check in the live browser session how this gets reflected into the browser. One new tag that is introduced in HTML5 is the picture tag. Okay, it allows multiple version of image to display it into different set of target devices. Okay, now what does this mean is, because now we have multiple device sizes, so this could be your cell phone, then this could be your desktop. Okay, so these are basically screens of your devices. Let's say the size of your desktop is, let's say, 1028 by 768. Okay, and let's say size of your mobile devices, let's say 240 by 360. Now you notice that the orientation itself is different. Okay, plus in mobile you can hold your mobile horizontally. Okay, so this aspect will again change. Okay, so this will become 360 and this will become 240. Similarly, you can also set up your monitor vertically, or you can have tab device which can be held vertically and horizontally. Again, that also has a different device size. Okay, now your image won't fit in the same aspect ratio or in the same height and width format across all these options that we are going to have. So we just spoke about 6 different options. So technically there are many more options than this. So to have your image fit perfectly everywhere, like this, maybe like this, or the same image can fit something like this on the larger screens. So to specify this, you can use picture tag, which is quite useful, and it can be used with source tag. Okay, so this source tag is optional, it's not compulsory, but one image tag inside of your picture tag is compulsory. Okay, so when you specify this image, okay, you can specify other sets of images. Okay, and media attribute wherein you can specify minimum width colon the size of the device. Okay, so if minimum width is this, then this particular image will be displayed. If maximum width of a device is 500 pixel, then this particular image will be displayed. Okay, and if none of the scenarios matching, then this one will be displayed. So each source element will have this attribute which will be responsible for calling a particular image. Okay, so now this decision is taken by the browser that which particular image needs to be called. Okay, so important thing to understand here is that a same set of code is going to display different set of images, and the choice will be made depending on the device that user is using or the screen size user's device has. Okay, then related to images, we can use map tag also, wherein you can have a certain image. Okay, and a particular section of the image needs to be clickable. Okay, so you can create sections like a square, or you can create sections like rectangle, circle, and polygons. Okay, so these sections can be made clickable. So we call these sections as the hotspots, and these hotspots can be made clickable. Okay, so this is a single image. Okay, and we have created these maps or hotspots which are we making clickable. So in order for this to execute, we can specify the image tag. Inside of image tag, we have specified source tag, where I have specified the file name. Then under use map is one new attribute where I specify which map tag I need to refer to. Okay, so hash basically is used to specify the ID, or gmap is something that will help browser to locate this map code. Okay, and again, if the image doesn't load, it will just display gmap, that is the alternate text. And now inside of map tag, I've specified the name as this particular map tag as gmap, so that when we refer to this code can be consumed. So now which area to make clickable, for that we use the area tag, and then we specify shape. Okay, so that can be circle, poly, and rectangle as I specified here. And then we need to specify coordinates. So usually these initial ones are the location in the image set. Okay, so in case of circle, this is the radius, and in case of polygons, these are different locations in the image, and in case of rectangle, this is width and height of the rectangle starting from one corner. Okay, and then we specify href, as in when we click on that particular area where user should be navigated to. So I think with the help of one example, you'll understand it better. I'll also give a reference to a particular website, so using which you can get these coordinates automatically. There are many tools available. So we are going to take this example. Okay, so this image I have taken from our Instagram page. So what I'm going to do is, on this particular image, I'm going to make this particular section as clickable using the circle, and then this laptop I'm going to make clickable using a rectangle, and then here I'm going to use the poly. Okay, so something like this. So this is how it is going to be. Okay, and this is the code that will be compiled. Okay, or this is the code that we will be required to have this working properly. So let us now create one new file. So I'm calling this file as, let's say, image tags. And if you notice, this save time png is something that we are going to call here. Okay, so this file I had already created here. So I had created a copy of this file. So I'm going to start writing my HTML code. Okay, wait, I think I did not specify file name correctly. .html I did not add. Yeah, so file is created now. So I'm starting to write my HTML code. HTML, then I'm pressing tab. So let's say I'm just calling image sets. Okay, then I'm going to call one image tag, to which I'm specifying source as save time dot png. Okay, so this is our file name. So when I reload, nothing is happening over here. Reason is this is a different browser that we are referring to. I'm going to change the file name that to image tags. Okay, yes, so this has loaded the image. Now you can see dimensions of this particular image is 1080 by 1080, which is bigger than the available width or height that we have in the browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify height to, let's say, 50 pixels. Okay, and I refresh. So this has reduced. So let me increase it little by, let's say, 200. Let me increase it little more, 400. Okay, so because we have specified height only, so it has calculated the width in proportion automatically. When I specify width explicitly, okay, then if you just specify, let's say, 100 pixel, so you'll see that now the image has got shrinked. Okay, so this is something that we usually want to avoid. So that is the reason why you either specify height or width, so your aspect ratio of the image doesn't get altered. Okay, so I have removed the width again. So this is how we are going to use image tag. You can also specify alt tag. Okay, let's say I'm going to say image missing, because we have the image there, but let's say I change the image name. Let's say I'm just adding one over here. When I refresh, okay, so you can see, because the image was broken or because the browser did not find this image, it has displayed image missing here. Okay, so I'm just going to undo it, refresh. All right, so now we need to check how we can create picture tag. Okay, so instead of picture, we know that we need to specify image. So I'm just going to copy this part here, going to display it here, hit refresh. So it has displayed this part, but now we need to add source tag as well. Okay, so I'm writing source. So I'm going to have, let's say, save time underscore small dot png. Okay, and then media equal to max width, let's say 400 pixels. Okay, so when we are going to have maximum width as 400, so this particular image will be displayed. Okay, and in other cases this image will be displayed. Okay, now let me reduce it to 350. So let me just reduce size of this image and create a copy which will be, let's say, 200 pixels. So what I have done is, now I have created this one more image. Size of this image is 175 by 175, and this is our default image. So you can notice the significant difference between both the images in terms of content. So I have also changed the code as per the example given in the slide. So I have specified minimum width in the media tag as 1000 pixel. So when minimum width is 1000 pixel, then only save hyphen time image will be displayed, and when minimum width is 500, so smaller image will be displayed. Okay, so when we have this code and I refresh, okay, because now screen width is less than 1000, okay, so this image is displayed, but when I increase the screen width, you can notice that the image has changed. So when I reduce, previous image is displayed. When I increase, the bigger image is displayed. Okay, so this is something that you can play around with multiple device dimensions. Okay, but this is really useful when you are going to cater multiple screen sizes. Okay, now let us continue. We'll check for the map tag. Now to generate code for the map tag, what we need to do is use online tools. So let's say we just search for create coordinates for image map. Okay, so let's say we're going to use image-map.net. Okay, so let me use one of the image. Use this image. So our image has loaded on their browser page, so we need to make this area clickable. So I'm going to use circle. Okay, then let's say I'm calling kodegod.com, title visit kodegod.com, and I'm going to specify target as blank. So when I click on show me the code, so it has given me the code. So I'm going to just copy this code and paste it here. I'm going to remove this existing example, and let me just add it here. Okay, so it has automatically specified the mapping name as image map, and here ID it has also specified. I just need to specify the image name, so I'm going to call it as save time. Okay, so let us try to see how this is going to behave. So when I refresh, okay, so this is our original code, and this is the next image wherein we are going to make this area clickable. So now it is not getting clicked. Oh, sorry. So coordinates are nan because we did not created the coordinates over here. So when you click here, so you can have this circle given by the this website, and then once you draw your circle, you can click on the show me the code link, and it gives you the coordinates. So I'm just going to copy the coordinates here. Okay, so paste it. When I refresh the page, okay, so now this particular area is clickable. It is also showing me this title. So when I click, it has opened kodegod.com. Now let us not bother about the why link is not clickable. So anyways, to fix it, we just need to specify href correctly. So try. Okay, specify the correct link, then click on refresh. Okay, so it has opened kodegod website properly now. Similarly, we can specify square and polygon as well. So let me just quickly do that. So I'm just going to create a rectangle, specifying the link now. I'm skipping the title for now, then blank, then I'm going to specify rectangle over here. So these two tools are quite useful, otherwise we'll spend a lot of time in creating those coordinates. So I'm creating another poly, pasting the link as is, blank, and then to create the poly, I have created the poly like this. Okay, it doesn't matter actually. For example, you can create any kind of poly. So let us say this is my poly, and then I'm going to click on show me the code, and I'm going to copy these maps only. So I'm going to paste it here. So if you just notice, it has specified shapes as rectangle and poly. In the previous case, it was circle. So I'm going to close this for now, and then when I click on refresh, so this has become the clickable area now. So if you just notice, when we go outside of the polygon, the link is not there. Okay, similarly here the link is present. So this is how we can use image tags. I have tried to cover most of the attributes, and I have tried to capture how exactly the behavior is going to be when these different images are used. Okay. So next component that we are going to check is HTML table, one of the most important component when we talk about HTML or web development. So table allows you to arrange data in rows and columns. So it is useful when you have some statistical information or some tabular data to be displayed in tabular format. And you can display tabular data like user details, product listing, or balance sheet of a company. So those kind of different data that can be shown using tables. So table brings a structured representation to certain key data points. So tags which are used for displaying a table are, first of all, table which creates a table, then tr creates rows, so you can remember it as table rows. Then you have TD for columns, then TH used for creating header of group of table cells. Okay, so we'll check this in a bit. Then you have T head. Okay, so that is your table head, then T body, then T foot. Okay, then you have caption which sets title for your table. So this is how it is going to work. So this will be your caption of the table, and then you have your TR, in which you have this TH as the columns. Then you have your table body, so this is your T head, then this is your T body, and here again you have TRs, and then you can again use TD inside it. Okay, so these are columns, so these are nothing but your TD. In case of T head, it is TH. Okay, so these are your TRs. So notice TR can be used both in head and body. And finally you have your T foot. Again, in that you can use a TR and TD. Okay, so this is your T foot. Okay, so these are three important sections, and this whole thing becomes your table. Okay, so by default tables have borders. Okay, so you need to explicitly add a few attributes so that these borders can be displayed. There are few other attributes as well, so these attributes we'll check in the next slide. But before that, this is a typical structure of a table. So starting with your table tag, you have then caption, then inside T head you have TR and TH. So this will form one row, and this comprises of your T head, and then inside of T body you have these two rows, okay, in which you have two columns, and then finally you have T foot, inside which you have one row and two columns. So this is the output. Okay, so by default when you use TH, okay, so it displayed as a bold. Okay, so that is why this total is in bold, reason being we have used TH here. Okay, similarly if you notice here TH is used and the text is in bold. Okay, so few attributes which are important to tables. We have align attribute. Okay, so align can be used for the table, so table gets aligned on your web page. So if this is your web page, okay, and your table will get aligned like this centrally. If you use align center, if you write align right, then table will move on to your right hand side. If you have set align as left, it will move on to your left hand side. Okay, similarly you have BG color, so you can set a background color for the table so that the information stands out very well on the web page. You can set border width. Okay, it is in pixel, so in case you have set the border to your table, you can set the border width to it. Then you have cell padding. So what is cell padding? So cell padding is basically space between the content and body of your cell. Okay, so if this is the cell and in case you have written A here, okay, so this is basically something called as the cell padding. Okay, so otherwise A will be displayed something like this. Okay, it will be just next to the border of the cell. So you can specify cell padding. Similarly, cell spacing is basically a gap or the space between two cells. Okay, so otherwise there will be something like this. Okay, so it's better that you specify this property, so some space is added between the cells. You can also add width of the table is specified when you have certain space allocated to that table. So you can specify width equal to 100 pixels or 100%. So when you say 100%, so it will consume all the width available to it, or you can specify it in pixels. So rules is another important attributes which is not oftenly used. So when you specify rules as values all, none, rows, calls, okay, so rules or the lines are basically added to the specified values. Like when you say all, so lines will be added across all the cells. When you say just rows, so lines will be added only to the rows. Okay, so your table will look something like this. And when you say value as calls, so only columns will be given the lines. Okay, So some of the tags we will see directly in the Sublime now. So let us try to draw a table which can cover up all these attributes and tags. So let us try to create one example of HTML table. So I'll create a new file. I'm calling this file as table.html. Okay, so I'm going to start writing my HTML. Okay, so table example, and then I'm just going to create one table. Okay, then I'm going to write one caption for that table. So this is important data. Okay, then I'm going to create one head tag and then th inside it. Okay, so when I press on tab button, so by default, because head and th has similar letters, the Sublime has created tag for head only, so you can just press on tab again, so it will change it to th. Okay, and we are going to need, let's say, 3 tags. So after doing this formatting, I'm just going to copy and paste. Okay, so it copies complete line and creates the one more line, that is using the control V command. So I'm just writing, let's say, serial number, name, and let's say work experience. So we have completed our head tag. Now let us start with body. So inside body, I am creating a tr. Okay, then a td. Okay, because we have 3 columns or 3 column heads added here, so I'm going to just copy paste it twice. So let's say in the first entry I'm writing my name, Prashant, and let's say work experience as 14. Okay, and I'm going to copy this line. Okay, so far we have created 2 rows. Okay, and 2 rows are having 3 different data points, say Praneeth, and say 5. Okay, so let us try to refresh the page. Okay, so this is the older file that is open in the browser, so I am going to change the file name to table.html. Okay, so this is how our current table is. Okay, now let us try to make this table a little beautiful. So let us try first adding the borders. So borders of 2 pixels. Okay, so the borders have got added. If you notice, there's a default cell spacing added to the cells, so I'm going to remove that. So cell spacing equal to 0, and because there is no padding inside of cell, I'm going to add, because if you notice, then the text is almost touching to the cell borders. So I'm going to add cell padding equal to, let's say, 10 pixels. Okay, then let us add background color to this table. So bg color, I'm going to add RGB format. So let's say I'm adding gray color. Okay, so the color has got added. Now we have not added a t footer. Okay, so let's add that as well. So t foot, and I'm going to copy this part. Okay, so this has got repeated, so let us change it to, let's say I want to display their total experience, and let's say we want to add the total of total experience, that is 22. Okay, and because we don't want this information now, okay, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, when I refresh, so we don't want this blank table as well, and I also want this text to be in bold, so either we can use b tag over here, or I can just simply write th. Okay, and I don't want this now, so when I remove this, let us see what happens. Okay, so because of mismatch between number of column heads, so this inconsistency we are able to see here. Okay, so what we can do is, for this th we can add call span. Okay, so when I say call span, so what I'm telling is that this particular cell or this particular th is going to consume space of 2 columns. Okay, so it will come till this point, and this 22 will get shifted here. Okay, yeah, correct. See, so this is how call span can be utilized. Similarly, across rows, for vertical spanning, you can use row span. Okay, let me just correct my spellings. All right, so that was all for tables. Now let us continue with HTML lists. So lists are also important. So because lists are used to display certain type of content in a very structured manner. So there are three types of lists that we have in HTML5 or in HTML. So that is unordered list, so in which your list will be unordered, so you can use bulleting, okay, so something like this. And to create this we need tag ul, okay, and for all these individual items you need li, that is representation for the list, okay. So inside of li you can add your data, so this is your output. Similarly, you have ordered list, okay, wherein OL tag is used instead of UL, and then you have LI tag again. So here, instead of bullets, the list is marked with the numbers, okay. And you can use one attribute start, because there might be cases wherein your numbering may not always start with 1, okay. So you can specify the number using attribute start, okay. So this is the output, okay. So in case you had not write this, so your numbering would have start from 1 and 2 and then the list. And finally you have description list, okay. So this is basically is used to display list of terms and descriptions, okay. So DL element is used to create the list, and DT element is used to specify term. We also have one additional tag here, that is DD. It is used to specify terms description, okay. So DT is basically your term and DD is basically your description. So when we use this, so terms definition are slightly indented, okay. So this is the example. So you have your DL tag and this is your term kodegod.com, and this is the description related to this term, okay. Similarly you have blog.kodegod.com as the term, and we have attached this description inside of DD tag, okay. So this is the output. So these are your terms and this is your description. Okay, so let's quickly check examples on this. So I'm creating one more file now, calling this file as let's say lists.html, okay. So again I'm creating one HTML page, HTML template I have got added. So I'm adding the title as list, then I'm creating, let's say inside of h1 tag I'm writing unordered list, okay, copying, pasting it and changing it to ordered list, and then I'm writing description, okay. After that I'm creating the list, okay. So let's say first is ul, okay, then I'm going to add li, okay. So I'm just writing, let's say mango, orange and banana, okay. So before I refresh I need to change the file name here, so I'm changing it to list, okay, correct. So this is the output. So it has created one unordered list. Now I'm just going to copy this whole part, pasting it here for creating the ordered list. Now change the tag from ul to ol and it should create the ordered list, okay. Now if you want to start the numbering from, let's say 3, so we need to just write start equal to 3 and it will start the numbering from 3. And then we have finally the DL tag. I'm just going to copy and paste this thing again, and I'm just going to change these tags to DL from UL, and then I need to change this to DT, okay. So what you can do is in Sublime you can press Alt button and then select this whole part, okay. And because if you notice it has changed the cursor from single line to multi-line, okay, so you can just type in DT, okay. And I'm just going to add a space over here and then change this as well. You can also change it by typing. So I'm going to delete this part, okay, and I'm going to write DT, okay. So if you just notice the cursor can be used to type multiple lines at the same time, okay. Now to remove this selection you just need to press escape, okay. I'm going to delete this extra space that I added for the quick edit, and then I need to add a definition for this TD. So I'm just going to write DD, okay. Let's say my favorite fruit, my second favorite fruit, and my third favorite fruit, okay. I just need to be correct with the sentence. So just added it here. All right, so our definitions are ready now with the terms. So I'm just going to refresh. So this is the output. So the description list is prepared now. So this was all about type of lists that we can create using HTML tags.